Well, I used to play golf a little bit. That gave me, so I don't know, but it seems to be quite a dangerous sport in retrospect.
What do you think happens to you if he wins?
Well, I'm out of here. I mean, I'm already working on a foreign passport with a completely different name. I don't know how it's going to work as far as dealing with my wife and my children. I certainly don't want them moving to where I'm looking to go.
Okay, here we got Michael Cohen. He is threatening to leave the United States, get a foreign passport and a new name. Anybody remember that he's a convicted felon, actually served time in prison, and he just said openly on MSNBC he was going to change his identity and travel to another country? Try that as a convicted felon. Unless you're this Ruth guy at the golf course, you can't travel to foreign countries with a felony passport. And I don't think there's a whole lot of people that aren't going to recognize this clown. You're going to hear a couple of other names that Michael Cohen is working with that are threatening to leave the United States. And with promises like this, I think there's a lot more people that are going to vote for Donald Trump because this is a mass exportation. These people are self-deporting because they are worried that the truth is coming. They are worried that justice is coming. And the justice's name is Donald Trump. And they tried everything they could to get rid of him. He's back. And now the rats are jumping ship. And they're usually the first thing to jump.
Dealing with my wife and my children, I certainly don't want them moving to where I'm looking to go. But I don't think yourself, the president of MSNBC, General Milley, Liz Cheney, how many people has he turned around and said, these are people that I intend to go after if I have the ability to. And the worst is the Supreme Court's recent decision that gave him immunity, presidential immunity. Now he thinks it's not only is it I can do whatever I want, but I can't even be prosecuted. It's a get out of jail free card solely for the president.
So you're out of here. You'd leave the country.
I have no choice.
Unbelievable state of being. Michael Cohen.
I'll still be available to you, but by remote.
Right, by encrypted remote. Thank you for spending time with us today.
It's always good to see you.
Somewhere. You've been right about everything.
Let's hope this clown leaves. And let's hope it's a full plane full of other clowns that he mentioned. Liz Cheney, General Milley. Could you imagine? Who would you like to see on the plane with Michael Cohen leaving the country? So many people have promised and they lied and didn't deliver. The View, Joy Behar, all these celebrities. I bet you there are a bunch of them that would like to leave right now with tie-ins to the whole Diddy baby oil situation. What are the Democrats that saw the light and came around to the way of thinking of logic, putting country over party, was Tulsi Gabbard. And she went on Newsmax and absolutely drops nukes on Kamala Harris. And this should be a wake-up call to anyone that has any idea of voting for her.
Yeah, Greta, as you know, I still serve as a soldier today. It's been over 21 years since I first enlisted, like many Americans, because of the terrorist attack on 9/11. So when we hear announcements being made that more troops are going to the Middle East, the very first place that my mind goes is, well, the most important responsibility that any president has is to serve as commander-in-chief. And we can't forget the fact that Vice President Harris, who is running for president and asking us to trust her as commander-in-chief, doesn't seem to be aware at all that we have over currently, before this announcement was made, over 40,000 of our troops already deployed to the Middle East. She said in the debate there were no troops currently deployed overseas in combat zones. 48 hours ago, we're sending more troops to the Middle East. You've seen on the news what's happening. The people with little hats are retaliating, and they need help. They always need help. They always need our help, more specifically. And we're going to comply. We're going to send more people to that combat zone. Are you okay with Kamala Harris being the one that sends them there? Debate. We have not a single active duty soldier serving in a combat zone anywhere in the world today. This responsibility lies in the hands of the commander-in-chief to decide when and where our men and women in uniform serve and go into harm's way. And the very first question that must be asked and answered before embarking on any such mission is, what is our objective? What are we trying to accomplish? What is our purpose? And what does, quote unquote, winning look like? This has been a...
If any of you know what our real objective is in the Middle East, leave a comment down below. And what does winning look like? Well, we saw that in Afghanistan. We saw that in Iraq, Kuwait. We're seeing it around the world where we really don't have a definitive mission other than just, that military-industrial complex. But are you okay with Kamala Harris being in charge of this unknown mission? Are you prepared for that?
A problem with many administrations over the last 20 years where they haven't done this most basic analysis before deploying our troops into harm's way. So I got to tell you, I have not seen from this administration, the Harris-Biden administration, what is the objective for our troops to be in many of these countries in the Middle East. It appears that maybe they're sending more troops now to help those who are already there, the over 40,000 who are already there. It is a huge problem, and I say this as an American, as a soldier, as a veteran who's deployed to different war zones in different parts of the world. It is a dangerous consequence being set up to have leadership and the president and commander-in-chief who has not clearly identified what is the mission, what does it look like to accomplish that mission, and what is the exit strategy. And it seems like this administration is reacting once again without a clear idea of what the mission is and, quite frankly, what the strategy is to accomplish that.
What is the mission? What is Kamala's mission? Who is she working for? Whose goals does she have in mind? And does she have your kid? Maybe you are watching this and you're active duty. Maybe you're National Guard. You're prepping to roll. Whose best interest is Kamala Harris serving? This next clip is from an Abbey Gate survivor. And I want you to look at this and I want you to let it sink in. This is a real conversation from a real soldier. Salute, brother.
Do you have a message to Vice President Kamala Harris if you did have the opportunity to meet with her?
It's not something I really thought about. I'd really just say that, as much as she and the current administration continue to push off what's happened, and as much as they don't want to answer for what's happened, for those murdered Americans, for the entirety of the global war and terror veterans that have been affected by this and their families, you need to answer for what you've done, for what everyone's done. You need to hold yourselves accountable, and you need to hold, everyone in our nation and our military that's accountable. I am very doubtful, I'm not doubtful, I know that they'll never do that. But it's the right thing to do, honestly. I don't really have, anything too in-depth to say on it. That's really as simple as it is that, those who are at fault need to answer for what they've done. And the current administration is one of those, organizations that's at fault, and they haven't done so, and they never will.
Have you ever heard Dick Cheney, George Bush, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton? Have you ever heard any of them say they're sorry for sending young men and women to battle and then them coming home like this, missing an arm, missing a leg? Think about it. Have you ever heard a politician apologize? How far would it go if George W. Bush said, there might not have been any of those WMDs, and I got some bad information, and I am sorry. I apologize. How much healing would that provide? Do you think anybody's ever going to say that? I doubt it. Do you think Kamala Harris is ever going to say sorry for the people that she is deploying right now? To the people that she locked up in California? Do you think she's ever going to say she's sorry? Kamala Harris had a staff member go on Fox News and got absolutely ratioed trying to defend her policies. Stand by.
We're waiting.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of aspects to it in regards to looking at it online. So let's talk about lowering the grocery costs, because that's something that's brought up. The viewers can look at this online. She talks about certain things in regards to advancing the first federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries, to set clear rules to the road to make it clear that big corporations can't unfairly exploit consumers as well.
Is that
and
happening?
secure new
Is that happening?
It's not at this moment, no.
So she's going to change a law, or she's going to put a law in place to prevent something from happening that's not currently happening. Listen to that again.
Consumers as well.
Is that
and
happening?
secure new
Is that happening?
It's not at this moment. No, this is her plan that's laid out for the first 100 days when she becomes president of the United States of America.
Gouging, is that currently happening?
In regards to I don't know exactly if that's currently happening or not, because I'm not privy to that type of information.
Okay.
But there are people are costing a lot of money in regards to groceries.
Okay. It seems
And that
like you're
potentially
having
is
a hard time articulating her plan. And
I'm not.
perhaps that's the
Honestly,
frustration of
that's
voters.
not true. Please, I'm constantly being interrupted by you, which as a woman, I think is disrespectful. When I'm trying to speak every time.
As a woman, it's disrespectful to be interrupted by another woman because you're flabbergasted and you can't speak and you can't communicate the lies that you've been told to tell. You're calling out price gouging, but there's no price gouging that you're aware of. There's no policy in place to prevent. Oh my gosh, fire this lady.
Time I try and speak,
I've given you a lot of
speak
time.
over me.
Okay. Final thought.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. I was giving you time there. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining.
Oh my gosh, this is epic. Fox News, well done. I don't know who this girl is. She's one of Fox's, but this went nuclear. You gotta love it. Hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button. Veteran Bikers out.